Verse number 39 that we have seen. Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanam atmanaha nidralasya pramaduttham tattamasamudahrutam. If you observe this 18th chapter, 7 topics starting with sannyasa, jnana, karma karta, then buddhi, dhruti, and sukham. So all these 7 chapters were covered. Especially in the last verse, verse number 39, where this tamasic sukha was being highlighted. And interestingly, we saw, even though looking for sukham is natural, instinctive, but the way we look at that, the way we choose that differs from person to person. And interestingly, we saw that every sukham, as it is created in time, it will come to an end. In Sattvic Sukham case, that being independent, being dependent on me, the self, on knowledge, in the beginning it appears difficult, but towards the end, parinami, it is amrutopamam iti. So it is like nectar. Whereas Rajasic in the beginning is very interesting, but later on painful. Because of what? Because it is born out of in contact with sense objects. That's why the word was being used, Vishaya Indriya Sanyogat iti. And being this Vishaya Indriya Sanyogat, being in contact with sense object and sense organs, it is dependent oriented sukham. And wherever there is dependence, there will be insecurity, there will be lot of complications, there is no doubt in it. Finally, the third one that we saw called tamasa. So tamasam here means in the beginning it is painful, also towards end it is painful. But still people go for it because Atmanaha mohanam iti. It is self-deluding, self-confusing. It is mere of habit, you can say. So whatever habit you develop, like, especially these addicted people, every addicted people know that addiction is not healthy, not good. Especially alcohol addicted people. They can give a beautiful talk you cannot think of. And the way they speak on, bad effect of alcohol. But they are not able to get rid of it because they are addicted. And they will also come up with the logic, self-deluding logic, to prove that whatever they are doing is right. This is one example, but there are many other examples one can look at in one's own self. And that's why here it is in the form of the person is addicted to, because stubbornness is there. The person is close. The person, thinks that I know what I am doing is right. And because of that reason, nidra, alasya, pramada. So these 3 things will be done because this tamasa sukham comes out of these three mainly. So nidra means sleep. We have discussed in details. Alasya, of course, laziness. This goes together. And pramada means negligence. Means the person always wants to be a bhogi. And when a person wants to be a bhogi, bhogi means enjoyer. So when you become a bhogi, enjoyer all the time, you become a rogi. Rogi means a diseased person. It's a beautiful concept, okay? That's a bhoge roga bhayam iti, Bhartahari says. In bhoga, in enjoyment, there is a fear of disease, sickness. That's why whether you want to be a bhogi or tyagi, choice is yours. So tyagi means renunciate. While experiencing whether you are going to be a tyagi or bhogi, if you remain bhogi, don't worry, roga comes. Nobody can help you out either. So while discussing this thing, Lord Krishna thought, okay, now these three are covered. Now let me talk something different. Verse number 40 is going to talk a different chapter altogether. Because this is called, the teacher's grace. This is what called the teaching tradition that always wants, to give benefit of doubt to the student. May or may not, might or might not have understood my child. So let me repeat once more. So here, even though he is doing summarization on summarization, okay? So 18th chapter itself is summarizing, okay? Now he is doing summarization on summarization. So let us chant this verse number 40, then we'll see what is all about it. Natadasti pratibhyam va divi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakrutijair muktam yadevi syannirhi syat trivhir gunai. He says, look, natat sattvam asti. So sattvam in second line, sattvam prakriti jair muktam, that sattvam there. Here sattvam means not sattva guna. You have to be very careful. That's why here we need the help of Acharya. If you take the dictionary, this is how many people misunderstand Sanskrit or the text, the Shastra. Here sattva means the entity, the reality. So he says any object, any entity, na tat sattvam asti. So that means na tat sattvam asti. There is no such entity. Prithibhyam va. So prithibhyam means, va means either in this earth, punaha, furthermore, deveshu va divi, among the gods or in heaven. It's a beautiful point to observe. So that we'll see the verse as it is, then we'll go for explanation. So that means there is no such entity either on the earth or furthermore among the gods in heaven. Yat muktam syat. That which is free of what? Evihi trivhihi gunaihi. From these three gunas called sattva, raja, tamaha. Because prakrutihi, born out of prakriti. That means there is no such entity you can find neither in this earth or on this earth, not in this earth, on this earth, right English. And of course, furthermore, among the gods or in heaven, which is free from these three gunas, because all of them are born out of Prakriti. So when you look at this particular verse, what does it want to communicate? We have seen already in 14th chapter Because all these things are created by Maya. Of course, Maya is nothing, three gunas. That's why summary here. What it wants to communicate, this is what we need to be very careful in this verse. Says, look, each jiva has its positioning based on gunas. We say, Astamba, Brahmadi Stamba Paryantam. That is a beautiful word we use. Brahmadi Stamba Paryantam. The most exalted jiva, individual, is Brahma, the creator. And Stamba means a pillar, an inert object. You can say a stone. All are having these three gunas. Is it clear? This is the first statement. Then, based on the level of percentage of gunas, they are different. It's a very serious topic today to discuss, okay? If you observe yourself, many people ask, Swamiji, I am doing many things but nothing is happening. Why? Because of your guna. So here guna means not other things, I am talking about because of sattva guna or raja guna or tamo guna. As you know, life is nothing but the mixture of prarabdha and purushartha. Life is not only purushartha or only prarabdha. So some people think only purushartha. I can make my future. Please make. Who says no? Please go ahead. The best example they will give what? This, what do you call? Hitler. So Hitler, when he went to the church, saw this thing. Correct, Hitler, if I am right. So there was the palm, that line was there. Then he said, if it is connected, he will be the most powerful person. So he took the knife and joined it. Now it is joined. Okay, no doubt he became Hitler. Then what happened to him? That's why the moment we hear the word, no, it is Napoleon Bonaparte. Sorry, Napoleon. The story goes about him. So anyway, because it makes no difference to me, okay? So I have to update my history knowledge, okay? Always I am poor in history and geography, okay? Coming back. That means here one has to be little careful. One group says that I can build my future completely depend upon Purushartha. And other group says, hey, everything is predetermined. God already has written on my forehead. That's why a few days back I had put it in the Facebook. Both are wrong. So both the group are not fit for Vedanta. That's why one understands life is a mixture of both prarabdha and purushartha. While understanding this concept, now I need to see why I have become a human being. This is the concept here. Let us look at first why a jiva. Please remember, a jiva can be also a stone. You can be stone in next life, don't worry. That's why we have example how Ahalya, a great lady, was cursed and became a stone. And many years she remained as stone. And later on, in contact with Ram, so who was Sattva Guna Pradhanam, So in contact with sattva guna, Ahalya, or the stone that was, Ahalya was converted into stone, again came back to life. It appears as though it is a story. It's not like that. That's why I think I was writing this concept, I think it was yesterday. Without understanding Purvabhaga of Veda, which determines the culture, one cannot understand Vedanta. To understand Vedanta, one has to understand Veda Purvabhaga, the cultural aspect. It is not humbug stories that other religion talks, but every incident that has occurred, it has its own logical analysis and based on the facts. So here is being said, if you observe, sattva, raja, tama can be divided into mainly 4 categories. Generally, you will say 3 into 3 will be 9, okay? It's not like. It will be divided into 4 categories. Because please remember this point very carefully. Sattva, raja, tama can be divided into 4 categories. Logical analysis. One can be sattva predominant, raja secondary, tamas last. Okay? This is 1. You can write S, R, T. Easy to remember, okay? Sattva, raja, tama. Number 1. Number 2 would be, then you can say number 2 should be what? Sattva, tama, raja, STR. No. Logically wrong. Because when sattva is predominant, tamas cannot be secondary. Do you see this point? It is impossible. It will not work. Here your logic fails. So that means S, sattva, raja, tama works. Sattva, tama, raja doesn't work. But it will work. Next one is raja predominant, sattva secondary, tamas last. That means what? SRT, RST is allowed. 2. Then comes raja, tamas, sattva. Raja can be predominant, secondary can be tamas, and sattva little bit. So raja, tamas, and sattva. And the final one is tamas predominant, rajas secondary, and little bit sattva. So the whole creation, entire creation, is nothing but the permutation and combination of these 4. Can you see this very carefully? So all these sattva, raja, tama divided into 4 categories. Again repeating, where sattva can be predominant, raja can be secondary, and tamas last. Rajas can be predominant, sattva can be secondary, and tamas can be last. And of course, rajas can be predominant, tamas can be secondary, and sattva can be last. And finally, tamas can be predominant, rajas can be secondary, and sattva can be in the last. Hope I am talking some sense, okay? Now, when this is the situation, there is nothing called pure sattva, there is nothing called pure rajas, there is nothing called pure tamas. When you look at a stone, for example, now a stone, which category will it come? You should have brain, okay? So which category will it come? Tamas predominant, rajas secondary, sattva last. So here in this case, what will happen is 99.999999 tamas, and again 0.0000009 rajas, or God knows how, and again towards end 0.0000001 becomes what? Sattva. Is it clear? That's why a stone cannot have the location to reflect the consciousness. Chidabhasa, that we have discussed in the 15th chapter, I hope you remember. That Chit Abhasa cannot happen through the stone. That's why in our culture, this is called cultural practices, this is called Veda Purva Bhaga, again, all these things are there. Even if there are some stones that becomes idol, deity, where Chidabhasa can be reflected, when Chit can be reflected. That's why every stone cannot become God. Like in nowadays, all marble statues. Marble cannot be. That's why a sculptor has to recognize whether it's a male stone or female stone or this or that, lot of things. Because you can create a statue, please understand, it cannot become God. Because in God, the stone should have sattva guna. If sattva guna is not there, that cannot be, out of that, God cannot be created. The statue which will be worshipped as God cannot happen. There's a lot of procedure comes. That's why after making this idol, we do a lot of processes where we invoke sattva guna. And of course, once is the Pranapratishtha is being done, 45 days, one mandala puja and other things to establish sattva gunam. This is called again based on Veda Purva Bhaga, the first portion of Veda. Whereas when you look at any plant kingdom, for example, now plant kingdom, there you will find tamas is little less, rajas is little more. If you look at animal kingdom, in animal kingdom, same thing also, definitely tamas is much lesser, rajas is more, sattva guna is more. Now, based on sattva guna, now animal from animal comes to human being. And among human being, all sort of differences happens based on sattva guna. Somebody is a king. It's based on raja and sattva guna. Can you see this point? Somebody is a powerful leader. Because of this guna, that's why prarabdha I am bringing it very carefully. And purushartha both. And including God. In God case, tamoguna lesser and lesser, sattva is more and more, including Brahmaji, the one who has created this universe. He also comes under this category. So that means it is all about how I improve my sattva guna. Can you see this point very carefully? Because it is a package. In the package, tamas is there, rajas is there, sattva is there. Now by default, if I don't do anything, I allow myself the way I am, tamoguna will keep increasing. You don't have to do anything. Whereas when I put little bit effort, maybe rajaguna will little bit improve, then there will be some type of mixture. Raja Tama, okay? And sometimes because of mixture, Tama will be more powerful. Like, for example, this is called Kashayam. We use this word. Suppose a pond is full of mud, slushy mud. All these lotus ponds they make, okay? Full of slushy mud. And a water is there. It's very clean water. You can see from a distance, wow, so nice, so clean. As long as you don't throw a stone, big stone inside, okay? Or forget throwing a stone, even if hot sun comes, when that water starts boiling, warming up, what happens? That bubbles will come. So down below, all the problem will start boiling. Have you not observed that? Same thing also, you are full of tamas. And somebody ignites rajas in you. Now, boom, all reaction comes. Can you see this point? That's why whenever you react unproportionally, I'm very carefully using, whenever you react unproportionally, that time your tamas is predominant. That's why a tamasic person reacts much more than a rajasic person. Here is being highlighted because these are the things you need to understand this verse so that it will be easier then to understand, or else the verse number 41 will be big disaster. Because in 41, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, this four concept is being talked, where it was being earlier talked that Chaturvarna Maya Srishtha Guna Karma Vibhagasaha. In 4th chapter we have seen already. So that again is going to come back here. I need to see which portion of me is predominant. And sometimes I may not be able to recognize, I need not recognize. That's why I need to have a lifestyle. Because my lifestyle, remember, will only support my goal of life. Because goal of life and my lifestyle are interconnected. I was talking to these boys here. I said, look, you want to be entrepreneur, but you want to go for a holiday. Will it work? Entrepreneurship and holiday never works. In fact, I was giving one example. I said, look, I know one person. He was supposed to get married. Next day, early morning, marriage is there. But previous night at 12:30, 1 o'clock, he was working, fixing the ball because he didn't have money that time. Because ball was getting fused, so he was covering to protect that ball. Till 1 o'clock, workers were working. Then everybody shouted. So then somehow he rushed back, and early morning he woke up and went for marriage. And that person has become a good entrepreneur, big entrepreneur. Because holiday and entrepreneurship never works. Rajas and tamas cannot. You understand the concept here? Same concept. I am bringing it very carefully. Same thing also. I want to study Vedanta. I want to be a spiritual person. But I will continue the way I am. Swamiji, you should change the timing of class. Swamiji, you should change your way of approach. You should not scold. You should smile. You should not look at us. We should continue the way I am, but class should continue. Will it be possible? That's why my job is to understand my goal of life and my way of life. Are they going together or not? Because I may not be able to understand my way of life. Only other will see me. But what is my goal of life? I know better. And you will observe when your way of life becomes different, your goal of life changes. Because based on that, you change your priority in life. So when your priority changes, not because of anything, but because of your way of living. You adopt different types of way of living. Based on that, your priority keeps fluctuating, keeps changing. That's why what I need to do, I know that being this mixture of sattva, raja, tama, If I don't take care of me, definitely, first of all, next life, I don't know what is going to be predominant in me. And based on that, I'll get Janma, okay? I can be a stone. And imagine if you become stone, how many thousand years you will be stone? Millions years of stone, okay? Suppose you become plant, at least if somebody cuts a plant, you will be released soon, okay? You happens to be in Himalaya somewhere, one plant, so few thousand years gone. Thank God if you become a mosquito, okay? Because you will suck everybody's blood and you will die faster, okay? What I am highlighting here is, the way I am is based on my gunas. That's why continuously I have to work to improve my sattva guna. That's why nitya sattva bhava avo Arjuna. Work on all the time how my sattva guna will be predominant. More of it we'll see.